Okay, let me know if you can hear me, please. Let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? So many people, new people are coming into the trade room. I'm really, really excited about it. Thank you, everybody, for coming into the trade room. It's a good thing to do. There's a lot to learn. Thank you, Jennifer. I love the room too. I'm not saying that because I run it. I love doing it. I love doing it. Okay, we're here for oil this morning. So, I've been teaching first of all, my name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Welcome to the 10-Minute Trades Trade Room and the CL Storage Report. That's why we're here. Remember, of course, that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes, and it is possible to lose money trading futures. So you want to trade carefully, smart. And even if you're careful and smart, sometimes things happen. You just want to be careful. You want to have a good attitude. And if something happens, you want to pick yourself back up and just go on and continue doing what you do best. And that means trading. Okay? So I think we continue to trade until every trade stops working. And right now, things are working very well. Things are going to happen. Like this morning, something happened. All right. We're going to deal with it. That's the one thing I'll tell you is that we're going to deal with it. I don't know. I don't have an answer today. So I'm not going to really say much more than we are going to deal with what's going on in the markets and how the markets are very fast. Okay. Now, today, I don't need that stupid yellow color anymore because a whole bunch of people in the room do not like the dark colors. Okay, so I don't want anybody to be unhappy. I'm the unhappy one. That's what happens. I'm unhappy. So I'll be unhappy to make everybody else happy. Now you can see the charts better. I just love those black charts. I love them. I love them. But I care about the greater good. The greater good. All right. So we've been getting great participation in the trade room. I mean, great. People are hearing me when I say come into the trade room, especially if it's part of your subscription. Why would you not want to come in if you get it as part of your subscription? If we're not charging extra, in other words, if you're here because you took advantage of our family money trade sale, the trade room comes with it. Why would you not come into the trade room? That to me would be one of the major reasons why I would buy the sale. Because the idea is we're going to try and figure out how to help you become a better trader. And you got 5 months to come into the trade room to do it. You don't have to do it in a week. And that's why I'm always telling people it's not a week, right? You don't learn to trade in a week. Some people learn fast. Some people are expert traders and they learn fast. But not everybody learns fast. Some people are slow. I had members in the trade room who spent over a year in the trade room before they ever took a live trade. Is that amazing? I never made fun of anybody. I never made anybody feel small. Sometimes that's what you have to do to get comfortable. If you have to take 6 months to get comfortable, there's nothing wrong with that. It's your life, your money. Do whatever you got to do to be comfortable. So oil is what we're looking at today. Oil, I believe, had a really good trade last week as a breakout trade. I'm going to watch it this week just as a breakout. I'm not going to teach the squeeze play today. We're going to have a webinar. I know I've been saying it, but I'm under orders. I am under strict orders to have one webinar a week starting next week. So the first webinar we're going to have is how to find your own fish, because we promised people that joined the financial fireworks, we're going to give the find your own fish trade. So last week you could see that Crude, we were teaching the squeeze play and it worked very nicely, but Crude had a great solid move down, and the breakout, in my opinion, would have worked last week. Let's see if the DMM agrees with me, because the DMM is my boss doing the analysis on last week's trade, and absolutely he agrees with me. So we can see something going on in oil that started recently. The breakout is starting to work. It's had 3 possible winners in a row. Okay, let me see if I have. Here's 728. We were teaching the squeeze again on 728, but you can tell by watching the quality of the move if the breakout would have worked. I'm looking at that clock. You can tell usually if the breakout would have worked. Here's the news. Very slow. It goes up and it jerks up to the first target. And it looks to me like it would have hit all 3 targets with or with the difficulty placing the stop. So last week, it placed that stop and it broke out. It broke out and filled, in my opinion, all 3 targets. And it wasn't that fast a spike. It was not that fast a spike. On 721, let me see if I have that video. That's the one video that might be missing. July 21st. I don't recall seeing that video for some. Oh, no, I do have it. 721. But see how the DMM, when you go back, it was worse for oil, but all of a sudden, the last 3 weeks, the Wednesday oil report's been trading better. So here's 721. The news comes out. It's been very choppy, oil. That's the one thing. It hits the first target. Oil's been very, very choppy. Now, if you moved your price too close to if you moved your stop too close to the current price, it would have kicked back and stopped you out. But it would not have moved back enough for a full stop out, and it would have gone on to hit your targets on that trade if you didn't move your stop. So what's going on with oil right now is it's definitely trading better. It's definitely not a family money trade under any circumstances. I don't call oil a family money trade. And I do want to say hello to people that are watching us on YouTube. Thanks for watching. If you want to, give us a couple of likes. That would be greatly appreciated. Hit the notification bell, and you'll know the next time we're streaming. We're actually streaming again this afternoon. So oil, but there's no question, oil is starting to trade a little better. It's definitely, like I said, it's still too risky and too inconsistent to be a family money trade. I don't know if the Wednesday oil report will ever be a family money trade. Last year, it could have been a family money trade for about 3 months. Oil was trading really well for breakouts for about 3 to 4 months. And then the warm weather hit and oil started trading rather poorly. The minute the warm weather hit, oil was not trading well. So we're going to take a really close look and see what happens when the weather changes back in October, September, October. Pretty incredible news about Cuomo. I thought that he would never resign. I did not believe he would resign under any circumstances. No comments about the politics, just commenting on whether he would have resigned or not. I thought that he wouldn't. Not going to comment whether I thought he should or not, because we're just not going to do that in the room. But there is a real difficulty in the American psyche these days. Where is guilty when tried? I mean, all this canceling. I mean, it could happen to you, it could happen to me. What happened to, yes, you're accused, how about a trial? I think that if you look at one of the problems, it's that the criminal justice system is so broken and it takes so long to get a case through the system that by the time a case goes through the system, it could be 5 years. And it's an unbelievable problem. But KT, I agree. We've reached a point in the United States where if you get accused of something, you're guilty. Now, what if I get accused of, faking the setups because I want to get more people to sign up? What if I, accused of creating fake broker statements? Am I going to have time to have? Am I going to have time to have a trial or a fair hearing? I don't know. I don't know. Albert, it's a good point. In the private sector, they fire before checking. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. Now, I'm not standing up for Cuomo. I don't know what he did or what he didn't do. He did ask the New York Attorney General to look into the charges, to write a report, and they said he did inappropriate. He was guilty of inappropriate behavior. The woman, Letitia James, that he assigned to look into his behavior, right? She said his behavior was inappropriate. So based on that, in this particular case, he probably should resign. And whether you like Cuomo or not, he set it up. He set it up. He had the opportunity to do it the way he wanted, and that's what he set up. Wally, I love that. Accuse me of making too much money. That's okay. But I do think there is an incredible level of unfairness that people are considered guilty now before any proof comes to the forefront. People seem that like they can say anything and it's believed. And part of the problem is the insanity of social media. People, if you don't have to show your real identity, which you don't have to show on social media, then you feel empowered to say the stupidest, most ignorant things that come to your mind because there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? You can do anything you want on social media and get away with it. There's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Nobody checks. Nobody checks. There's no consequences. That's not the word. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm, drawing a blank. When you're not, That doesn't matter. But repercussions, no. Shoot, I can't think of it. But the point I'm just trying to make is it's not fair that you could be accused and you lose your job. And you get fired before you've even had the opportunity to defend yourself. Accountability. Fred, thank you, Fred. That's what I was thinking of. Accountability. KT, you're so crazy. I agree, Albert. Social media can be bad and good. But one of the biggest problems with social media is people hide behind false identities and they say the most viciously mean things that you would never say to somebody's face. I mean, if you won't say something to somebody's face, should you really be saying it on social media? I personally use my real identity on social media. And when I make a comment about a Procol Harum video or a Paul McCartney video, I take full responsibility for everything that I say. Some people, Cliff, do reveal themselves. I agree. Some people reveal themselves, but many people don't. Many people don't. Social media, I love social media, but it's a problem. It's a big problem. There are a lot of problems. There's so many problems nowadays. Don't know where to begin. But you know what? In the trade room, we have our own little world, and we don't have to worry about those problems. And that's why I love event trading. All we have to worry about is what's that darn crude oil report going to do at 10:30, right? That's what that's what we have to worry about. What's the crude oil report going to do at 10:30? So I know for me, when I'm done, when I'm done with my day. The last couple of weeks, I've been watching my daughter's house and taking care of her pets. So I leave my office, I go over to her house, and I put on the most expensive, fantastic earbuds, wireless earbuds I could find. I listen to so much music nonstop, hours and hours and hours. Do my tech support, answering all your questions and email, send out the DMMs. I really have a nice life, but I'm worried about the country. I'm worried about the country. Anyway, if it weren't for music, I would not survive. I spend so much time listening to music. There's a song, I don't know if you watched um, Machine Gun Kelly when he was on Saturday Night Live. He did a song that I thought was one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. It was about his aunt who passed away, and it's an amazing song. Amazing. I was never really familiar with his music. I really, really thought it was a beautiful song. Anyway, so we got oil. So we're worried about what's this oil report going to do, right? Our setup, let me turn the recorder on. Music lifts your spirits. Music can bring you real down, Albert, too. It could really make you incredibly emotional. The thing about music that I love more than anything is I love the way that music triggers memories. In other words, I could listen to a song that maybe I haven't heard in 20 years, and when I listen to it, it will trigger where I was at that time, who I was with, and it's fantastic memories get triggered through music. Music is I mean, you can't explain really what it is, and it doesn't matter. Excuse me. It's just, for me, it's such a major part of my life. There's nothing else I can say. It's just like the main thing that's always been the major part of my life, my existence. And then news trading, of course. Then I got hooked on news trading, and I became a crazy person. Okay, so this crazy person is going to set up an oil trade. I'm not trading oil live at this point. Maybe if there's 4 or 5 trades in a row. Maybe I'll start trading one contract. I need to see, sorry, my throat's killing me. I need to see if there's consistency in the report. That's what we have not had all summer. There's been very little consistency. So that's what we need. You know, that's why is a trade a family money trade and why is one another trade not? It's the consistency. Even though the trade was really difficult this morning, it still follows the consistency of the move. It was a giant move, pretty much in one direction. The problem was caused by matching news. The news result was almost exactly as expected this morning, and that created an insane response in the index, in all the indexes this morning. That's what makes no sense. It was an inappropriate response to the news results. That's the best way I would explain it. And I agree with that, Albert. When you get emotionally moved to tears by music, it's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway, let's get the strategy going here. So we got a bracket of 10, okay? Bracket of 10. Our activation time, it's one of the few reports that I will do an activation time of 58, and I'll do it because it's the right time. There are other reports that my testing and my live trading has shown that 58 is too early, and that's why I change the entry time sometimes to 59. 10:29.58 on oil, though, in my opinion, is absolutely the right time. I always label the report CL Wednesday report, and then the orders, the stop, excuse me, I got the hiccups now. The stop is 12. My body is just falling apart. It's over. It's over. Basically, I need a body transplant. Position size 1 is 7 ticks. That's the first target. Position size 2 is 15 ticks. The stop loss is 12 ticks. Fred, read what Fred just wrote, because Fred makes a fantastically important point. The markets loved the news today because it was not bad for inflation. That's what the markets are worried about. However, it's all fraudulent, because when you look at the supply chain problems in the markets, inflation is rampant. When I bought my scooter, the next shipment of scooters was going to be $400 more, not because of the price of the scooter went up, the price of the shipping and getting the product here caused the dealer $400 additional dollars. So the same ridiculous Chinese crappy scooter that I bought, and it's a crappy little scooter, every shipment this year, and there's been like 3 of them, were $400 higher because of supply chain problems. That creates inflation, and that's what the market is extremely worried about. There is inflation. I think the Fed has it wrong, and you're going to see the Fed's going to change what they do because they're going to realize they've got it wrong on inflation. However, you get a report like today, and that report today, it has to be fraudulent because it's showing that the inflation is low. That's what that report showed. Prices were not up. It cannot be. It can't be true. It cannot be true. Because when you go to the market, when you go to buy something, everything is higher. Try to buy a car. You can't even buy a car. If you look at Carvana, Carvana is charging new car prices for used cars. New prices for used cars. So don't tell me there's no inflation. There's a monstrous amount of inflation, and I believe the Fed has it wrong. And that's and yet the markets don't care. They keep going up and up and up, new highs, new highs, new highs. Yes, you get a couple of days here and there where you get a pullback. Let me get this trade set up. Bracket of 10, one position for 7 ticks, one for 15, stop at 12, entry time 10:29:58. Like I said, not live on oil right now because of the inconsistency. I'm looking at MCL on the right. We're looking at the regular crude on the left. And I don't have a problem if there's inflation, and it might be temporary. The Fed believes it's temporary, but I think the time that it will be temporary is much longer than they originally thought. That's the issue, I think, that they have made a mistake on. They thought it was temporary, but sometimes temporary could be a year, right? The supply chain problems, they're not getting ironed out in a month. They're just not. Time.is the way that I'm checking my sync. Don't forget, don't forget that there are tools in the room drive, in the trade room, on the trade room taskbar. If you look up, you'll see the picture of a disk drive. There are 2 software programs in there to help you get your computer in sync: Atomic Clock and D4 Time. Atomic Clock is the easiest one to use. So if your computer does not go into sync when you go to time.is, download one of those programs and run them. And I have virus scanned those programs. But anytime you download something, even if you download it from us, virus scan the program before you use it. Right click on the program and use your virus program. And if you want a good malware protection program, I'll give you 2. Malwarebytes, very, very inexpensive, fantastic ransomware malware program, and believe it or not, AVG free. You can use the free version of AVG virus. Very, very good anti-malware, antivirus. If you want to know where to download them with no risk of getting a virus, and I'm not joking, send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com. Do you know how ransomware people get into your machine? They get into our machines. One way they get in is sometimes you'll think you're downloading something you expected to download, and it's a hacker. And if you download on a file that's ransomware, it will change the characteristics potentially of all the files on your computer. That's usually what a ransomware attack does. It will change the characteristics of your files so that your normal programs can't read them. And your backups, if your backups are on the same networks, it changes those also. And you know how I know this? I was the victim of a ransomware attack about a year and a half ago. Some guy came into my house, he punched me in the head, and he said, "Hey, this is a ransomware attack." In all seriousness, I was the victim of a ransomware attack. I did not do something stupid. I did not download something I shouldn't have downloaded, but someone got on my machine and they put a file on that I clicked on, and it was ransomware. It changed almost every file on my trading computer. And by some miracle, a miracle of miracles, I was able to restore most of my files, but I had to do it with the help of a local computer repair store that helped me restore my files. But it was a horrible experience. And I did not do anything wrong. but I'll tell you something I didn't do. I did do something wrong. I was sloppy about my anti-ransomware software being on my computer. That I was sloppy about. So I was an idiot. Here's the oil report. A very choppy initial fill. So what happens if you don't move your stop? If you get filled on your first target and you don't move your stop, you would lose a couple of dollars, okay? You would lose a couple of dollars. I had time where I could have moved my stop. Now, unfortunately, the news came out, and this is why I recommend Financial Juice Pro. It's very inexpensive. There was less of a drawdown than expected. So there was a little bit more oil around than they expected, but not so big that there was a gigantic move, and gasoline had a very big build. But, you know, I'll tell you something, the very big build in gasoline has wait a second, I take that back. Gasoline had a drawdown, and it was similar in scope to oil. So just because the news was not a huge offset, you did not get a good result from that particular report. Now, if you notice what happened, investing.com is working the way that Forex Factory works. It made me refresh the screen to get the news, which is a pain in the neck, okay? It's a pain in the neck the way investing.com is not working well. But if you want to qualify this report, the way that I would qualify this report, let's look at the video. I would qualify this report as a target one winner. It's a target one winner because it hit target one and then it reversed and stopped you out. So that would have been a winning trade if you had enough time to get out of the trade with a profit. Okay, so let's look at the video real quick. Look at the video. Here's what happened. I did not move the stop. So here's the report. The report comes out, and there's less of a drawdown than expected, and I'll double check that. So it was a slow fill. It took 8 seconds. It almost hit target 2, but remember in sim there would have been a little bit of slippage, maybe a tick or two. And it reverses, so I would call that a target 1 winner, but you had time. Watch, you would have had time to get out of that trade without a loss. At a minimum, you could have moved your stop. What are some things you could have done? You could have hit the break even button the minute target 1 got hit. Right there, hit the break even button and you're out of the trade safe. Okay? There was enough time to get out of this trade safe, but not a great trade. No two ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not a great trade. Anybody trade it live using our settings? Anybody trade it live using our exact settings? I'm not trading it right now because, as I've said, it's inconsistent. That was inconsistent, okay? That's considered an inconsistent move. It didn't continue in one direction. It reversed, and now it's moving, okay? Now it's moving. But that's still considered an inconsistent move, okay? Those are the trades that are not family money trades. It's a family money trade if it's consistent, right? That's the rule. It's got to be consistent. Any questions? Any questions? So Albert, it happened to you. You had a ransomware attack. So I want to thank our YouTube friends. That's our stream this morning. Watch your email. We have a stream this afternoon also at 12:30, and trade room members will be back in the room at 12:30. So Chantal, if you're there, I say goodbye to our YouTube friends. Thank you for watching. Sign up for our channel, and I'll see everybody. I'll see the YouTube friends at 12:30. But YouTube can shut down now.